Supermotos are an interesting breed of bike. Race versions are little more than 450 cubic centimeters dirt bikes with 17-inch wheels and beefier suspension and brakes. The riding position and style is attractive to a wider variety of riders, which is why we've seen more companies come out with more streetable versions. Aprilia has a longer history with supermotos than one might expect from a small Italian brand. In 2006, it answered the Suzuki DRZ 400 SM with the SXD 450 and 550, ditched the traditional single-cylinder engine used by most supermotos for a super compact, 77-degree, V-twin 450 cubic centimeters or 550 cubic centimeters engine. The bikes were basically race bikes with lights and license plates, and they became quickly beloved amongst anyone who could keep the high-strung bikes running. The Dorsoduro 750 followed in 2008 and continued with the V-twin configuration, though with a much mellower motor, and then a 1,200 cubic centimeters variant came in 2010. The 750 had a hard time bringing the wild supermoto spirit the SXD was known for, with a 467-pound wet weight and putting down about 70 horsepower to the rear wheel. The 1200, on the other hand, brought too much of it with 118 horsepower, 76 pound-feet of torque, and feeling that made the throttle feel more like the launch control button for a rocket. Suspension on both machines wasn't ideal, and neither bike really took off. For 2018, Aprilia is doing away with both of them, combining the two into the all-new Dorsoduro 900 which, they say, is better than ever. The Dorsoduro is powered by an all-new 896 cubic centimeters 90-degree V-twin engine that it shares with the new Aprilia. Aprilia roped out the motor from the 750, retaining the 92mm bore but increasing stroke from 56.4mm to 67.4mm. It produces 83 horsepower at 8,990 RPM, 56.38 pound-feet of torque at 6,000 RPM per hour dyno. The biggest difference with its shiver brother is gear ratio, down a tooth at the front from 16/46 to 15/46. Most of the architecture in the previous remains the same, though Aprilia has reduced friction through redesigning the pistons with the reinforced piston pin, new piston coating, and slightly revised crankshaft geometry and balancing. The uniquely shaped twin undertail exhaust remains, though the new motor makes for a more gut-aero and aggressive bar. One of the biggest updates to the Dorso comes in the form of the new Aprilia 7 SM ECU, which is the same used on the Aprilia RSV4 and Tuono. This system controls the ride-by-wire throttle system, as well as the three fuel maps: Sport, Touring, and Rain, 3-level traction control system, and ABS. The Dorso gets a new upside-down Kayaba 41mm fork which is 450 grams lighter than the Dorso 750, and adjustable for spring preload and rebound damping. Out back, the shock is also adjustable for spring preload. Weight is also reduced with wheels taken directly from the Aprilia RSV4RR, shaving another 5 pounds of unsprung weight. Despite the lighter wheels and fork, the Dorso 900 still tips our scales at a whopping 485 pounds wet and full of fuel, a number far heavier than I expected. We don't have our own numbers on the Ducati Hypermotard, but Ducati claim a wet weight of 450 pounds and Aprilia claim 467. Braking is handled by 4-piston, radially mounted calipers biting on dual 320mm discs up front and a single piston caliper and single 240mm disc at the rear. The 2018 Aprilia Dorsoduro 900 has a suggested retail price of $10,999, comes in just the one Tuono-like paint scheme, and is on dealer floors now. Ojai is a tiny town just inland of Ventura, California, and home to one of Southern California's best riding roads, Highway 33. The plan was to take advantage of this road to test both Aprilia's new Shiver and Dorsoduro. Zach Kortz and I drew straws to see which we'd be starting on, though I'm still undecided as to whether winning meant being on the Supermoto first or second, but either way I was up for the morning stint. Highway 33 starts off with some beautifully long sweepers before tightening slightly as it heads up into the Los Padres National Forest, and as with many supermotos the Dorso felt a little unsure at first. Although the bike's 26 degrees of rake isn't too aggressive, it does make it eager to comply with even minor inputs when combined with the bike's high center of gravity. The initial part of the ride was slow, But the pace picked up after our first photo stop and the Dorso finally started to come into its own, settling down more as I loaded the chassis on the climb. With more speed came more braking, which highlighted maybe the biggest issue with the Dorso. The brakes are a little lacking in power, but it's mostly the lack of bite that's almost shocking as you grab a handful of front brake.